alcohol withdrawal, a terrifying seizure. It was my first seizure. It was horrendous. A little bit of background. I was in the south, in London, still working, and I was drinking a bit too much. I knew I was drinking too heavily, really. Couldn't get any real help. I didn't really want any help, to be fair. I was still sort of in the social to heavy drinking area. Anyway, my wife was always at me, ex-wife, and I'm a parent who lived in the northeast, so my parents came up with this idea: why don't you take some annual leave, come up north on your own, and we'll get you off the drink. Their idea, and my idea was to stop. But I was drinking quite a bit, and they said, come on the Sunday night, I'll never forget it. Come on the Sunday night, stay with us. We'll have the Monday, we'll make a doctor's appointment on Tuesday. Managed to get this doctor's appointment on the Tuesday. They'd done that the week previous. So on the Sunday night, I thought, well, I can't go and stay with them. I've got no drink, have I? So we're used to drinking, you see. Basically, I had a day off. So I thought, well, I'll just stay at a hotel on the Sunday night. It's a day, not a few too many, as always. I thought, I can't really take any drink into their place. I mean, my father he wasn't a disciplinarian, but he was ex-police, police same as me, and I thought, well, he's going to know that I've got alcohol hidden. So I put a couple of cans in my bag. I didn't touch them on the Monday. I got there on Monday. It was quite a nice day, I remember. Quite warm. So I thought, what will I do all day now? I'm in the northeast with my parents, on my own, with them. What am I going to do? I'll have a little walk down into the town. Thinking, well, I'm just going to stop. I mean, how I didn't know the dangers I've gone. Well, it's beyond me, really. Anyhow, I decided about midday, I said, I'm going to nip down to the town. It's about a mile walk down a bank. And mother was, oh, you have something to eat, because you don't really feel like eating a lot when you're a heavy drinker, do you? Never feel like ravenous. No, I've had a bean sandwich, so I'll just walk down there. Anyway, about a minute into the walking down, I started to feel a little bit, the best way to describe it is a bit lightheaded. A bit like I was going to faint. Now, I just kept on with it, because I was walking down a bank. It wasn't a hard walk. And I remember the sun on my face. I thought, God, it's quite warm, isn't it? I tried to take my mind off this feeling that I had of being detached. Cars were coming by quite a speed. And I remember walking by this house. On the left, had some bricks in the garden. I was sticking up a diagonal. Anyway, I just stood there, stopped for a minute. And I just didn't feel well at all. I felt as though I was going to faint. I've never fainted before in my life. I kept walking a little bit further. There weren't many people about, but I noticed some builders on the right-hand side of scaffolding. And there's a woman on the left, about 100 yards away. One of these shopping trolley things. And at that point, I started to shake a little bit. And then my whole body started to shake. Really bad. And I sort of stood still and fell back under these bricks. Really hit my back. And I stood up again, and I fell back again. By this time, this woman had reached me. And she tried to get me to sit on the ground, basically, and I didn't. I was fighting to get up. I thought, well, I'm going to be all right. Panic, really, really bad panic. And the builders came over, and they were big lads, and said, look, stay where you are. We'll call an ambulance. Within about a minute, an ambulance was there, because the ambulance station probably wasn't too far away from where I was, actually. Ambulance turned up, terrified. But I might have been a policeman in London. I knew all about ambulances, hospitals, but when you're a patient, it's slightly different, isn't it? Oh, I'm not going to hospital. I'm all right. Have a quick drink of water. I'm not going to hospital. All this. You got me in the back of the ambulance. You've got to do it. You've got to go. No, I'm not. We have to sign a disclaimer. Yeah, I'll do that. So I felt better, a little bit better, but I stopped shaking a little bit. But never blacked out or anything. Never lost consciousness at all. So I signed a disclaimer, and this woman said, you kind of walk back. I was only up the hill. I said, well, I'll just get my father. So somebody can ring my dad and they'd come pick me up. Anyway, he turns up. We got in the car, went back to their place. About 2 o'clock, I think it was by then. I can't remember. All through that day, I just felt I was sitting on the sofa, and I thought, just trying, when you're trying to gather your thoughts, trying to feel well. I didn't feel well at all. I just wanted all this shaking, but I was still shaking a little bit. They didn't really understand what was happening. They just said, "Are you all right?" I said, yeah. They're putting it off, you know. So we got to about, I would say, 5:45. My mother was making something to eat again. The older people just eat all the time. I said, "My dad, I feel really, really unwell." I didn't ask them to call an ambulance. I said, "Will you take me to the hospital?" It was only about 10 minutes drive away. He said, yeah, I'll just get my coat and this and I just sat there and thought, I feel really awful. The next minute, I knew the next time I was lucid was about half an hour later, and I woke up in a hospital bed. So he had to get me out of the house, into the car, got to the hospital, and then got one of the porters to carry me into the hospital. I had this massive seizure, apparently. I was in there for a couple of hours. I thought, well, at least I've got some help now. I'll stay here the night. They give me what was Valium that night. So they said, "You can go home now. You're not going to have another seizure." And that was about it. I'm thinking, God, this is a bit quick to be released or discharged from hospital. But the doctor's appointment was the next day at 10 o'clock. So I managed to get the doctors. They took me down, but I was quite hesitant to walk, so I had to sort of lean on my mother. It was ridiculous. So embarrassing, you know. The guy's about 40 with his elderly mother hanging on to her. Tried to hold her hand there. I was so unsteady. I got into the doctors. My father came in with me. Dr. Culver, her name was. Very good doctor. Had a bit of chat. Usual. Nice, you know, thanks for coming to see you and all this. How are you feeling? I said, told her the story. He said, "Well, you can't stop, you know." As if I should have known that. I said, "I didn't know. I honestly didn't know that if you stopped, you'd have a seizure, you may die." That was her words. And my father started on about, "Oh, he's just drinking too much, he's a drunk," and all that. And then she said to him, "Hang on a minute, he didn't mean to get in this state, you know. He didn't mean to become an alcoholic," which is what it is. At that stage, I thought, yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I knew then. I knew before, probably. So she sent him out of the room, had a bit of chat with me, and said, "Look, what I'm going to do is give you this diazepam. 7-day course. As long as there's somebody at home with you, you can take these tablets. And we're going to give you a sheet with instructions on how to take them, how many per day. Maybe 4 doses, day 1, 3 doses, day 2, 3, and all that sort of thing." And she opened the top drawer in the old filing cabinets, or the metal ones, and there was about 100 photocopied sheets with the same information on it. Bear in mind, this is a small market town. So I said to her, "What are they for?" She said, "I've got hundreds of patients in this town who are alcoholics. It's not unusual." So from then on, I got these tablets, we took them back, and then I was giving them. My dad looked after me in the house really. And I didn't eat much, but I was just sleeping all the time. And I felt a little bit bad after day 2, 3, and 4. And then I got the 7th day, and I felt pretty much right as rain, to be fair. But that's a long time ago. It's 20 odd years ago. And then from then on, I started to feel a bit better, and I was off the drink for about 1.5 years or so, and I relapsed again. But not again, I relapsed for the first time, I suppose. So I had a period off, but the seizures terrified me. That seizure terrified me so much that every time I relapsed again, I couldn't stop. I just felt so bad when I had a few. It's psychological, wasn't it, really? But I knew from the previous seizure, the big one, the first one, the terrifying one, that it was going to be bad. It's only going to get worse, isn't it? Especially I did have another one when I was in hospital in 2019. So be mindful of that. The seizures are really are quite common in alcohol-dependent people who just suddenly stop. Now, I don't know, it's quite common knowledge now, it seems to be, because I'm doing this channel. I've spoken to doctors a lot more, psychologists, alcoholics, people like myself, people who've been less ill than me, people who've been worse than me. I've learned a lot about it. But people still are unaware that stopping alcohol is extremely dangerous. Just cold turkey, as they call it. You've got to be weaned off it somehow, or taper off it, which is quite difficult as well. I couldn't do that. You need medical intervention, I think, really, to be fair. If you're a social drinker, maybe a heavy drinker, you can probably cut down a bit. But if in doubt, get some help. You know, speak to me, speak to one of the other lads who do this sort of thing. But if you're really at the bottom of the bottle, you're dependent, and you should get medical help. And don't just stop. Now, I don't know why, I didn't know that. Bear in mind the job I did, dealing with alcoholics, drug addicts, and the like, people with social issues, especially in central London, where there's all sorts of people, isn't there, with problems. And I was so naive. And I was a heavy drinker, dealing with drinkers, associated with drinkers, had friends who were drinkers, had friends who died of drink, still didn't know about the dangers. If you benefit from the channel, you want to speak to me about anything else, please leave a comment. I've got an ebook out as well, which the link will be in the description. And I'll speak to you all soon. Please share the videos if you can, or if you know anybody else who needs support. I think there's a lot more people with alcohol problems in the UK that we know about. So keep up the good work. Let's work together on this, and let's save some lives. That's the ultimate goal, isn't it? Speak soon.